a world where losing in your fantasy football league isn't an option, we present to you Triple Coverage Podcast.
Hey YouTubers, if you like what you see, make sure you click subscribe below. Today we're going to do Week 2 Preseason recap, Cheezin or Treason. So crack a cold one and enjoy.
For that drum beat, like that Jumanji game, as soon as you pull that game out and you heard those drums, boom, 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 boom. Okay, you just pull those, that machete out, you chop them through all the vines and that heavy foliage, because you know me, I don't care. Like, I could be desperate.
Travis doesn't care. We know that from last week. Travis doesn't care about anything.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. I think we're on YouTube right now, so hello, everybody. I'm with the boys at TCP. I'm with James Up and Jay Up.
What's up, guys?
Whoop, whoop.
And I am Travis Sutton, and I do not care. So,
clearly.
We're going to recap some preseason action.
I like the new tagline.
Yeah, I don't care. You know me, I don't care.
Doesn't care about anything.
So, yeah, preseason week 2. Treason or Cheezin. I like Treason or Cheezin in that order. What do you think? Cheezin or Treason or Treason or Cheezin?
No, TC.
Executive change right there. Boom, it's done.
Hey, 2/3 said yes.
It will be done.
It's passed. Treason or Cheezin? Like different things that are happening in the preseason. Is it betraying what you thought about them? Are they lying to you? Is it treason?
Coach speak?
Yeah. Or are you cheesing? You're super happy. They're doing what you hoped they would do. Or are you pleasantly surprised? Or any of that good stuff.
We can even be cuter and call it Treason, Cheezin, Preseason. So it's TCP. If you guys want to get super cute.
Is that cute?
I think it's very cute.
Wow.
Did you just drop a nugget?
I did.
2/3 agree. It's cute.
Treason, Cheezin, Preseason.
Yeah. That's it. It's
TCP,
done. That's
done deal.
Breezing.
That's done.
All right, let's ease into this right now. So we're going to start with...
Ease in? Man, it just keeps going.
All right, bud. All right, Eagles, Patriots. First game of week 2, yeah?
Yes.
All right, we're going to breeze through some of these guys. The main starter studs, we all know their position. Unless something crazy happened, we probably won't touch on them very much at all, if at all.
No touching.
No touching. Hands off. So, quarterbacks.
Anybody cheesing on Nate Sudfeld a little bit?
No, I think he had a good game, but the main thing I'm looking at with the quarterbacks is how many sacks they took. They took 8 sacks. Is that
That's the main thing you're looking at?
Yeah, because is that the offensive line, like the depth of the offensive line for the Eagles, or the Patriots defense that good?
Well,
8 sacks.
Were you running with the 1s, the 2s, the 3s, the 4s?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Just if they're giving up that many sacks.
You sound
it's
like
an
me,
issue.
bro. You don't care.
I'm just saying.
I don't care who you're running with.
Well,
The 4s?
Foles started, right? He got sacked 3 times, so I know he was going against the 1s. Sudfeld's number 2, so he's going against the 2s and 3s, and he got sacked 4 times. So, again, 7 times out of the first and second string is not an issue for anybody?
No.
All right, moving along.
For me, sideways look. I'm keeping an eye on Sudfeld in like a super flex or a start 2. Both quarterbacks from Philadelphia are banged up, so if anything does happen, he's going to automatically move up to 1 injury away and possibly getting some playing time this year. So he might be a good stash if you got room.
So you're cheesing on him?
I'm a half cheese.
Yeah, smirk.
Well, especially with the way that we talked about with their depth. Like the Eagles just have depth, so this just goes to show you that maybe they won't be in terrible shape if Wentz can't start week 1 and Foles is still kind of banged up. I think Foles will be okay, though, because they already said Foles is going to play in week 3 as well.
Yeah, I don't know. If you saw that play, it looked a little... It didn't look good, man. The torque he kind of put on thing, he immediately went down, grabbing his shoulder. So, I mean, is he at risk of something happening to where he kind of hurts it again, hurts it worse? Like both guys are coming clearly off of some type of injury,
right?
In Foles and Wentz, so it's a little sketchy. It's a little sketchy in there. I think there's a lot of things going on with Philadelphia that almost points to the Super Bowl hangover. There's a lot of stuff going on there. And it's
thank
not
you
good.
for saying it, because if I would have said it, I would have got roasted. So thank you for saying it.
I'll save you the roasting.
Thank you. Not too much to talk about in the running back side of things for Philadelphia, but New England was kind of interesting because you had Burkhead, who was also out, and Michelle didn't play. So
not going to touch on quarterbacks for New England, Tom Brady every day, all day.
Correct.
It's pretty interesting there. There's a lot going on in the mix, I think, in New England.
Do you feel like Hill and Gillislee are battling for one spot? As far as the running backs go for
I don't know.
Should be Jeremy Hill.
Like I almost think. Okay, thank you, sir. I almost think that there's a chance that both of these guys make the team.
You think just because of injuries, just because Michelle and Burkhead are kind of banged up, and Burkhead's back at practice now though?
Possibly. I mean, they're both talented. I mean, Jeremy Hill. We've seen Jeremy Hill do some stuff when he's been healthy, been right. He's been down a little bit lately, last couple of years, but
on the longest drive.
He's on New England, so you saw Blunt get 40 touchdowns that year. So I mean, whoever kind of gets the role, if they decide to use like a big back kind of role, like they did the year prior, could be very relevant.
All right.
So I'm not sure how that's shaking out really.
Receiving wise, a couple guys that are maybe dynasty stashes, like we talked about on the Philadelphia side. Shelton Gibson. He actually had a pretty decent game. He had 5 catches, 90 yards, and a touchdown. He's kind of buried on the depth chart right now, but like we said, he's a guy to look at because you have injuries to Alshon Jeffrey.
If Matt Collins doesn't happen, like everyone thinks he was going to happen, is there any possibility that Gibson can jump over him? Because I don't think Matt Collins is really... Like, he didn't play again, did he?
I think they're on different sides. I think Matt Collins is more like a Mike Wallace type. I think Matt Collins is behind Mike Wallace on the pecking order, and I think that Shelton's going to play the other side. So they kind of play 2 different positions.
Okay. So Gibson, he had a good game the first week too,
yes.
right?
Yes.
So this is 2 he's put together. So he's definitely making a case. And if Alshon Jeffrey ain't right, which it's starting to seem like
I know
it's leaning that way. So this kid could be a sneaky kind of pickup in Dynasty if you got room. But also they got a lot of depth. So hey, Alshon comes back, he probably slides right back to irrelevance.
Yeah. Yeah, he's doing work on the sidelines. They said at practice. He's not really even in team drills. But New England side of the ball, before we leave the Philadelphia side, Dallas Goedert, another good game too, 3 for 57. So it looks like they are trying to maybe work him in.
If I'm an Ertz owner, I'm worried, man.
I'm worried about his touchdowns going down for sure.
Like altogether, you're clearly gonna be sharing some of this load. So depending on what the offense is seeing and where they go with the ball, like they could both be equally involved and kind of be nullifying each other a little bit. But Ertz won't get you he won't return what you spent in draft capital on him, probably.
Correct. New England side of the ball, though, I was pretty impressed with Cordell Patterson because he's only been known as like a special teams type of guy, and they actually seem to be using him a little bit more on the receiving end. And I know that it's kind of a mess there in New England right now with their wide receivers. They have guys that are hurt, guys that are going to be suspended for the first part of the year.
Guys that can't catch.
Eric Decker can't catch a cold in New England.
2 targets again, though.
2 targets, no catches. He's dropping balls in practice. I don't like we talked about this off the air, but I don't believe Decker makes a team either. I think that they brought him in, and I don't think he's going to make it.
Yeah, I feel like he might just be a body. I mean, and it's not really panning out. So yeah, I think he's a casualty as well.
Not super impressed with Philip Dorsett either. I think that if they really give Patterson a good hard look, he could be somebody that could, have a few good games down the road.
I mean, I'm not buying Patterson.
Me either. He does this all the time.
I want to because it's enticing, but I just can't bring myself to
He was in Minnesota a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
Every time he did something in the preseason or he had one good game, it was like a just gigantic game, and then never heard from him again after that.
But if they keep him for
not
mainly
him.
like special teams and return guy,
he's Treason.
Super dangerous.
I'm Treason on him.
Treason on Patterson?
Yeah.
Treason.
It's all lies. Don't believe any stats you see in the preseason on him. Treason.
There you go. All right, let's move on to the next game then. How about Washington 15, Jets 13? Anything stand out to you guys here?
Teddy Bridgewater.
Teddy.
Get that man a starting job somewhere.
You got to talk about Bridgewater here. Obviously, it looks like they want Darnold to start week 1, but Bridgewater has good value. When was the last time the Jets had 2 good quarterbacks?
I know. That's why it's like you don't want to abandon on him so much because like anything can happen, injuries or a rookie slump, anything you want. Yeah. You want a guy that's going to supercharge that offense and the fans are going to get behind. I don't think that's Josh McCown. Even though McCown's a proven quarterback that can step in when he needs to, I think the fans want to see Darnold. And if Darnold doesn't work out, they're going to want and cheer for Teddy Bridgewater because he's the exciting quarterback. He's not the guy that's a game manager. He can actually make big plays. So I think that the crowd might have a factor in this if something happens with Darnold. If they do hang on to Bridgewater anyways.
Yeah, I think they should hang on to Bridgewater. I think.
Like, what does it cost to hold on to him?
Nothing. They have a 1-year deal, a cheap 1-year deal. I think they should keep him too. Obviously, he's going to have a lot of suitors next year if they end up keeping him. Hopefully, they don't get distracted by the fancy we can get a 2nd-round pick or we can get a 3rd-round pick for him. I hope they keep him because I think that he would be a solid backup. Touching on McCown though, McCown didn't play in week 2 here, obviously, and does that hurt Robbie Anderson's value at all? not having McCown be the starter, because Anderson was a guy that everyone was kind of buzzing about in the offseason. He had a really good year last year, but it was with McCown, and that's the guy that he kind of targeted a lot. Does anybody think that he takes a little dip just because
That's possible.
Yeah,
McCown may not be the quarterback?
I don't know if it's necessarily that. I think he benefited from a lot of injuries too to the wide receiver core. So maybe he got a few more looks than he would have if everybody was healthy, like and Nunwa and different guys. So if you like Robbie Anderson, I think you ride him. You ride
I
with
know
him.
you like him now.
Yeah, I hate that guy.
To
Do
me,
you believe in Robbie Anderson's talent?
Treason.
Yes.
To me, it's treason. Treason for Robbie Anderson
No,
as well.
I believe in his
if
talent.
McCown
He's
isn't
still
the quarterback.
He's still super young too. It's not like he's been in the league for 8 years or anything. He's like, I think, what, 25 or 24?
Yeah. Okay. Youth, age ain't everything,
A
baby.
lot of upside there. He's
Age
the
is
same
just
age
a
as
number.
Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley hasn't taken a snap yet.
Calvin Ridley's getting Social Security.
All right.
What about on the Washington side? Does anything stand out to you here on the Washington side besides the fact that
It's a mess.
Geis got hurt in week 1? Now you have week 2, no Geis for the rest of the year. They just went out and signed Adrian Peterson, and the coaches come out. Gruden said he wants to play him in week 3.
Yeah,
Of the
which
preseason.
which they should. I mean, they got to get him in there and get some action. It's not like he's been in the league where prior he wouldn't play in the preseason. And now he got to get him in there.
How did he
it's a
finish?
mess,
How did he finish last year? He was Saints. He got traded to
Cardinals.
Arizona.
And they got hurt in Arizona at the end of the
Like,
year.
wait,
though.
When he
Okay.
had volume, but
Did
he
he
went
do-
right there and he had a couple 100-yard
Right,
games.
like
Yes.
right off the gig. Okay.
When he gets volume,
I completely, literally could not remember
Good.
what happened to him last season. I remember
No,
he went
he's-
from the Saints to Arizona. But
Peterson's literally that guy that needs like 25, 26, 27 carries to all of a sudden you see like
but even
he
still,
wears the defense now.
even still,
Yeah, he
like-
wears the defense
Oh,
now.
that's his game.
If they bring him out and they try to do like the Saints did and give him 8 or 9 carries, you're not going to get anything out of this Peterson. Like if you're invested
Well, okay.
in playing Peterson, he's going to have to get over 25 carries.
does Washington obviously know that then, right? Like when Washington brought him in to sign him, and then now they have signed him as of Tuesday, they obviously know that, like, hey, we got to get this guy minimum 20 touches. Is that a knock at, like you were saying before, Jay, of the guys they have on the roster, the P. Ryans, the Rob Kellys, the Capri Bibbs, Marshall, and so on and so forth? It's literally like, we're going to bring in this guy who's 30 whatever years old, 34, 33 years old, whatever, that's basically off the couch as a free agent to come in and already pump him in week 3 in the preseason and see what he's got.
Yeah, I think it's a slap in the face to the guys that they have there. Yeah.
But if you're Peterson, you made it apparent to tell Washington, hey, if I'm coming to the team, like I demand touches, because I don't want what happened in New Orleans last year to be any
I think that if Washington did their homework on him before they just brought him in and said, yep, you look good, I think that they did their homework and they saw that he's not really a committee type of guy. So if they're just bringing him to be a body, it's not going to work out. And that's my opinion.
So what do you do in a dynasty if you have Rob Kelly, you have P. Ryan, you have Bibbs, you have Marshall, any one of these guys? If you have them, are you still holding and waiting to see what they do with Pearson, or you just let him go already?
Bibbs is a cut for me.
Yeah.
Kelly's borderline cut for me. P. Ryan, I'm gonna hold on to.
Kelly and P. Ryan I would hold on to.
Yeah, Bibbs, Marshall, no.
Yeah,
But I mean,
it all depends on
Peterson-
Chris Thompson too. because
exactly. Yep.
If Chris Thompson is still hurt or doesn't come back for
November, December.
November, Bibbs might be getting in there. It might be Peterson and like Bibbs, because
Right.
Bibbs can do some catching. He's kind of that
Yeah.
role as well. So
I own Kelly in one, and I own Bibbs in another, and I'm not ready to move either one of them yet.
Unless
But
something-
unless something better comes along, and then I might consider it. But right now, I'll just hold them.
Yeah.
Bibbs did nothing in the rushing game whatsoever. 5 carries for 6 yards, but he did all of his damage in the receiving end. He got
Mhm.
7 for 47, but like we talked about, that's basically just taking the Chris Thompson role until Chris Thompson gets back.
Yep.
well, for sure.
So treason on him for me. On Capri Bibbs.
I mean, it just depends. Like, you got a guy that's coming back from an injury and clearly is not ready for the beginning of the season, so it could be very productive for you.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get guys and you're only going to get 3-4 games out of them, but guess what? You get that production and you use it while you can.
It could be. It could
Like
be
Jonathan Williams.
It could be November. It could be November though. We're talking. You could
Well,
have
that's what
all
he
of
said.
September and October. That's what I'm saying. You could get 2 months out. You're talking half the season at that point. So worth a look for sure.
What I was going to say is, right now I'm trying to hold on to these guys until something better comes along, at least till I
Right.
can see the last couple of preseason games.
Week 3 and 4
See
for
how
sure.
they use them.
Mm-hmm. Next game.
Let's move on to the next game here. Green Bay 51, Steelers 34. And this game was actually on TV, and I watched the first quarter of it, and it was like 14-7, 4 minutes into the game.
Mm-hmm.
It was just an absolute shootout, no defense whatsoever.
Did we just shoot over the receivers in the last game?
We shot over Washington's receivers.
Okay, I was just curious. We didn't talk
No, we talked
about
about Capri-Bibbs on the Washington receiving side because he's the only one that did anything. You still have, like, if you want to talk about Doxson, but he only had one catch. Richards only had one catch. That's why I kind of breezed over him.
It's not necessarily for completely the stat box. I mean, because that doesn't mean a whole lot sometimes. They only play a few games. But I think Quinn, clearly, he was drafted very late. He's shown that he can play, and they're trying to get him involved. So I would keep an eye on Trey Quinn. Yeah, other than that, I mean, Vernon Davis, like, I like to keep an eye on him, because I think he's a very viable tight end. If Reed goes down, even maybe if he is in there, because the last time he was super relevant was with Alex Smith as well.
When Reed goes down.
Or when
So
Reed
it's
goes
not
down.
gonna. Yes. Next.
When
please.
Reed goes down. All right, so moving on to that Green Bay Steelers game.
What happened in the first quarter of this game?
It was
14 to what?
14-7 in the first 4 minutes of the game.
Okay.
Ended up being 17-14 at the end of the one. So it was definitely no defense played in this game.
Or just really good offense.
What do you think about the
Preseason
backup
week
job?
too, baby.
What do you think about the backup job? I think Mason Rudolph has solidified his spot as the backup to Big Ben.
No.
You think it's still up for grabs? Or you think
I didn't think
that
he looked very good.
this game, he actually did okay in the first game though. Rudolph, right?
Yes.
That's debatable.
I still think it's up for grabs to answer your question.
Got it. So Treason or Cheezin, either one of these guys, you don't really care.
No.
Yeah, I don't really care. I'm not.
Even in super flex, you're talking about Mason Rudolph as a rookie, so obviously
In a
you
super
drafted
flex,
him
I
to
want
be the heir
Rudolph.
apparent
In
to
a
Big
super
Ben.
flex, I want Rudolph. Just because he's a rookie.
if it's a dynasty, if it's
Yeah.
like a redraft super flex, I don't want him.
No.
What about Connor solidifying his spot as the number 2 behind Le'Veon Bell, who he's clearly starting because Bell's a holdout.
I saw that you actually dropped Jalen Samuels in one of the leagues.
Yeah.
What was the reason for that? I mean, 9 carries, 38 yards. He had a touchdown. He looked okay.
Clearly he's
what was
treason.
the?
No, I'm
What was
just he's buried. I needed to kind of go after a guy that had a better chance of getting meaningful playing time. If Bell comes back, what's Samuel's going to do? You know what I mean? So then I'm hoping for an injury or two before I can actually use him for anything.
Throw him on your
I don't
taxi
necessarily
squad.
believe in his talent long term. So
Taxi squad though.
I don't believe in his talent long term.
But even if you don't believe in his talent, if he does anything, you could flip him for
My
somebody.
taxi squad is full.
Like
Loaded.
I'll be bidding on him for sure.
Locked and loaded.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I was pissed that it was in a league that I can't just go on and pick him up. I have to wait 8 days to pick him up.
He can clog your roster, bud.
Receiving core, man.
I'll tell you,
James
yeah.
Washington.
He looked great. He made that one catch, actually a couple of catches, but the one catch he went up and over the guy and still got it in. He's not that big of a receiver. He's not that tall.
No.
He went up and over a guy and grabbed it from literally in front of him over the guy's head and brought it in, and it was awesome to watch because he's not, like I say, he's not this gigantic guy that's just gonna bully people, but he bullied the hell out of that corner.
I feel like before the draft happened, before the NFL draft happened, I think that we were all really high on James Washington. Like, we're talking like top 10, like he was going to go in the first round.
Yeah, and then something happened.
And then he started to slip a little bit, and he went to Pittsburgh, and then everyone kind of was like, Pittsburgh, it's a third receiver. You know, they still have Juju, they still have Antonio Brown. I'm back on James Washington again. Like,
I was never off.
I didn't like his landing spot.
I didn't understand why.
Because I don't know how long Big Ben's going to be there, and James Washington's going to be the number 3 always behind Brown and Juju.
I hate that narrative. The guy can play. The guy can play, clearly. Clearly he's a good football player. He was in college. Talent is talent, man. Juju was the same thing when he came out. It was like a year away. Is Big Ben going to be there next year? Clearly Juju can play. Some guys can just play, man. And he slipped into the second round in one of our drafts, and I got him, and I was super stoked.
I got him at number 24 overall in the draft.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
To me, that's crazy.
Because the 23rd pick was a Steeler fan. And I was like, there's no way. Clearly they're going to take. And I was like, how do you not take James Watt? I'm getting him at number 24. That had to be the lowest that he's gone in any league. Like 24th?
I had some firsts and thirds, so I missed out on another.
Crazy. But he looked great, and the future of the wide receivers, the Pittsburgh Steelers, looks phenomenal. I mean, Antonio Brown, even though he's turning 30 or 31-ish, he's going to be there for a minimum 3 more years. You still have Juju, who's 22 years old. James Washington now is a rookie. So the receiving core there, if they just hold on to these guys, they're going to be great for the next 2 to 3 years when Big Ben's still there. So this offense, I think, to me, it looks very good for the future.
Yeah, whatever they're paying the scout there for the wide receivers, he should get a raise.
Okay.
He does a good job with that scouting.
Can we move to Green Bay's receivers? There's about 70 of them. You don't want to touch on any quarterback issue. Is it Kaiser or is it Hundley? Who's backing up Rodgers?
That's what I'm curious of. Like, who do you think's leading right now in the backup spot? Because
Kaiser.
I don't know if they're going to carry all three of these guys into the season. Are they going to carry Rodgers, Hundley, and Kaiser?
I think Kaiser, and it's only because they saw what Hundley did when Rodgers wasn't there, and it was kind of all over the place. You never knew what you're going to get for him, but I don't know how much they really believe in Kaiser yet either. He came from Cleveland and didn't look great there either. So
he threw the most picks in the league last year.
Yeah.
So. I think they're going to make a decision based on like the entirety of the preseason and how everything kind of shakes out.
And they're going to pray every night that Aaron Rodgers doesn't get hurt so they don't have to ever even make that decision.
I would agree with that, yeah.
So you think Hundley wins the number 2 spot?
What?
I say Kaiser.
You say Kaiser?
Yeah.
I want to say Kaiser too. I mean, I saw what Hundley had last year, and he had a little bit of a rapport with Adams last year.
Say,
but other
Devontae
than that,
Adams, he
nothing
loves.
else.
Loves Devontae Adams.
Right.
So for me, owning Adams, I'd rather see Hundley. But as far as like fantasy purpose wise, I'd take Kaiser.
Not too much to talk about on the rushing side of things for Green Bay. The 3 main guys, only one of them played, Ty Montgomery. So.
Still looks like they're going to do use all 3 guys, right? Is that what you guys still feel? Week 1?
I don't know. We haven't seen Aaron Jones whatsoever, so.
He's back in practice now.
And we won't.
You won't see him week 1 or 2. What about the receiving guys? You want to gush about your guy that's going to make the practice squad?
Jake Kumaro? I don't know. I mean, this is the reason why I believe in him is because at first I read a couple stories about him, and I'm like, okay, who's this guy, whatever. I started looking him up on YouTube, and he's got a bunch of YouTube videos from when he was in high school and college and whatever, and the guy is literally just non-stop working with whatever quarterback's available, whether it be his high school quarterback, college, and to me, it's like he literally said basically, my biggest concern is any ball that's thrown my way, if I can get a touch on it, I should be catching it. And that's what I like my receiver. That's what I respect. I expect my wide receiver that's in the NFL to, if it's hitting them in the hands, I don't care if it's a little behind them or it's a little low or a little over his head, I want my guy to catch those balls. There's no excuse for you to get 2 hands on a ball and not catch the ball. So he is basically adamant about every day, even in the winter times, wherever he came from, I can't remember. But winter, summer, it doesn't matter. He's out there every single day having his quarterback out there, throwing to him and getting the rapport with the quarterback. And that's what he brought a championship state championship to his high school as well. So
don't you think that every receiver in the league though is adamant about catching the ball?
I think they're adamant about catching it, but are they putting in the work to do so?
Not Corey Coleman.
Right. Are they adamant about going out there every single day and before practice, after practice, and getting that rapport with that starting quarterback? And that's the difference in some of these guys' work ethics to me.
So he wasn't one of the guys that Rodgers was talking about when he said they had a piss poor work ethic. He wasn't
I seriously doubt that.
Maybe Kumaro's coming in making everybody look bad.
Right. Yeah. Maybe he's going full speed in practice, and everyone's like, "Hey man, like chill out," and he's like, "I never chill out. I need a job."
So besides Kumaro, the 3 guys that Green Bay drafted this year was Valdez-Scantling, Iguanime St. Brown, and then Jamon Moore. Which one of those 3?
It looks
do you
like
think takes the lead?
It looks like Valdez-Scantling.
Who was actually drafted first?
Right.
Before he was the first one of these 3 that was drafted. Do you
Who
think all
also-
3 of them make the team?
Well, Scantling plays special teams too.
Yes.
So
He's got the best shot easily.
That gives him a little bit of a leg up. So what scares me on Kumaro is these other guys that they drafted. So
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying. If Kumaro makes a team, which one of these guys gets cut?
St. Brown is first to cut for me. Then probably Kumaro, then Jamon Moore, and then Scantling. I think Scantling's there. Like he's gonna be there because of the special teams and because of everything else. I think that he is penciled in, and it's gonna be between Jamon Moore, it's gonna be Kumaro, and it's gonna be St. Brown. And I think possibly 2 of them don't make it. Because you still have Cobb, you still have Adams, you still have Ty Montgomery that they could use as a wide receiver if they wanted to. So how many wide receivers do you hold? 7?
D'Angelo Yancey
but
too.
he won't be designated. as
Geronimo
a receiver.
Allison, they still have 2. So it's like, how many do you carry usually? 7?
They're gonna have a plethora.
If Kumaro goes to what do you call it?
Practice squad.
Practice squad, he will get picked up. He will be playing with someone.
Didn't he go to? He was with the Cincinnati prior.
Mm-hmm.
He went to their practice squad. Is that what
I
happened?
believe so. He will get picked up. That's all I'm saying. Next,
Let's move on. Kansas City 28, Atlanta 14. Not a whole lot to talk about with the Kansas City side. Did you see that one highlight though with Patrick
I did.
Mahomes that like the 70 yards in the air to Tyreek Hill?
I did.
That was pretty impressive.
And you know what? Tyreek Hill almost had to slow down a little bit, and I think Mahomes could have threw it further, but Tyreek Hill was so ahead of those DBs that he slowed down, and they still didn't catch up to him.
Yeah.
Like it was a little underthrown after 68 yards, but Granted, it was a ridiculous throw, but he had to slow down a little bit and still had those DBs burning. There was 3 of them there. He burned his corner and the safety. So I think that Mahomes has shown that he has a gigantic arm. I haven't heard anything that he's just not accurate, like the Josh Allen type where everyone says, oh, he's not accurate. He's got this booming arm, but he doesn't know where the ball's going. I think Mahomes has an arm and he's accurate, and I think that he is going to be very, very good. I've been a Mahomes believer since he took over the starting job. The second they let go of Alex Smith, I started reading up on Pat Mahomes, and everything in practice from the season that Alex Smith had, guys were still in the locker room saying that when Alex Smith leaves, this kid, we're in good hands. Like, this kid looks amazing, and that's what they were able to ship him off and let Alex Smith go and not replace him with anybody, and just, here you go, the job's yours. So I believe in his talent for years to come.
What do you feel about the Kansas City rushing attack as far as that? I mean, obviously they're not going to keep all of these running backs. They went out and got Damian Williams, and they went out and got Kerwin Williams in the offseason. They still have Sharkhandrick West and Spencer Ware under contract, all behind Hunt. And the chances of them keeping all of them are pretty slim.
Yeah, I think it's Hunt and Ware. And maybe Sharkhandrick West.
I think West gets cut.
But yeah, it does say he'd be the third. But then who's the third then? You're only going to carry 2 running backs? You're going to carry at least a third.
No, I think Damian Williams has a slight edge on Kerwin.
Does it really matter?
Yeah, it might. I mean, it didn't matter. Kareem Hunt didn't matter last season until Spencer Ware went down. What if Kareem Hunt gets hurt again? Then if Kareem Hunt gets hurt this year, is it just going to be Spencer Ware is going to take over and get all the touches? No. It's going to be multiple guys. So I want to know who that third guy is, just in case.
That's what I was kind of leading into, is who's going to...
Travis doesn't give a shit about the third guy.
He doesn't care.
Not really.
Well, I mean, you don't care about any third guy in any team? You just picked up freaking Christine Michael.
We're talking about this team, not any team.
Right. The Kansas City Chiefs, the third guy will get play.
I do care about guys. I don't think anybody back there's worth it. I don't think anybody back there's going to give you that kind of production anywhere close to it. I think Ware would be the only guy, and after that, like, hands off on this backfield for me, honestly.
What about the receiving side of the ball for Kansas City? Is anybody else worried about Sammy Watkins through 2 preseason games? Hasn't caught anything? Like,
caught a cold.
Like, clearly they want to use Tyreek Hill as the number 1. They threw him a lot in game 1. They threw him a lot in game 2. Like, I believe in Watkins this year. I'm just worried that, I don't know, maybe they're not on the same page yet.
I want Travis to answer. I don't know.
Honestly, I haven't watched a whole lot of Sammy Watkins, so I'm not really sure what the deal is. I don't know if any of his targets were, quality targets or not. But, yeah, I guess it's a little you want to pay attention to, I guess, yeah. I'm not sure how long he's even been in, or honestly, I don't think I've watched any Sammy Watkins yet this year.
That's definitely something we want to look out for.
Either is Pat Mahomes. You and Pat Mahomes on the same page. Neither one of you guys look at Sammy Watkins.
He looked at him 3 times this game.
He looked at him, yeah, he threw it in the ground.
Atlanta side of the ball, nothing to talk about on the quarterback side. Rushing wise, Freeman obviously didn't play in this game, so Ito Smith got a little bit more playing time. And I'm not real high on Ito Smith. I don't know how you guys feel about him, but he's obviously the guy everyone's talking about in dynasty circles, because if Tevin Coleman leaves next year, then Ito Smith is the next guy up to be the 1B to Freeman's 1A.
Yeah, I'm kind of got my toes in the water. If an injury happens to one of those guys, Ito Smith's going to step right up and get some action. So, yeah, I think he's worth paying attention to.
I'm like you on the other thing. I don't think there's any. I don't like Ito Smith at all.
I'm not real high on Ito Smith as well. I think that if Coleman leaves, I think that they'll try to implement Ito Smith, but I don't think he's anywhere near the talent that Tevin Coleman is.
He's not going to be no one.
I don't think that's the argument. What happens if one of those Coleman or Freeman go down?
He's the number 3 though, Ito Smith.
If Coleman or Freeman go down, does he move up to number 2?
He moved up to number 2, obviously, yeah, by process of elimination, yes.
Okay, so the number 2 is pretty viable there in Atlanta as of late, yeah? That's all I'm saying.
Well, it's because it's Tevin Coleman and Freeman. I don't think there's anywhere near the talent of Tevin Coleman or Freeman, so let's scratch that. I think that if one of those 2 gets hurt, they're just going to get about 80% of the touches, and then they would sprinkle in maybe Ito Smith and whoever else.
I don't know. That
you think it's a 50-50 split, like 1A, 1B?
I haven't seen... That's not a 50-50 right now. Like,
what is it, 55-45? It's pretty close.
I don't think it's going to 80. I'll just say that. So I think that he's going to be relevant for you. I'm not an Ito Smith. None of us have been an Ito Smith backer. But I think opportunity, and you want a guy who's one injury away when you're kind of stashing stuff, especially in Dynasty. I'm just saying he's don't just disregard guys like that, because you might be paying attention to guys that
you just did that in Kansas City. You just did that. You just disregarded the
I
third guy
like
in
Ito
Kansas
Smith
City.
that more than Damian Williams, more than Kerwin Williams.
I know, but you're disregarding because there's some listeners out there that do believe maybe in Damian Williams or Charkandrick West, whatever. But you just missed the entire backfield for Kansas City because I mentioned the third guy. And now
Saying
you're
he's
talking
irrelevant.
about he's irrelevant. Now you're saying the third guy in Atlanta could be very relevant.
For me, in the offense in Kansas City, yes, I think the third guy isn't very relevant. For
Okay.
me, the third guy in Atlanta in that offense, I do think is relevant.
Okay, that makes sense.
I'm just not real high on Ito Smith. I think that if one of those guys does get hurt, that Ito Smith's not going to be Tevin Coleman or Devontae Freeman.
Correct.
Maybe he'll
Of
have some kind of
course
value, but
not.
you're not gonna play that guy.
You're not going to
How
play
do you
him.
know?
You're not going to play him.
How do you know?
The only way you're playing Ito Smith is that Tevin Coleman and Devontae Freeman both get hurt.
Yes, I agree with that.
If both of them get hurt?
If both get hurt, now you're playing Ito Smith.
So he's the number 2, and he's getting 6 catches for 60 yards and maybe a touchdown. He's going to get receptions. That's
What
the
I'm-
thing. If
what
it's
I'm
in
saying
a
is-
PPR,
is
he's going to
Freeman-
be relevant.
Freeman has standalone value. Okay? Coleman, even though Freeman's there, Coleman has standalone value. If Coleman gets hurt, Ito Smith, I don't believe, has standalone value.
Okay.
I think that he's going to have these situations where he might get a couple of good carries or might get a couple of good receptions, but he's not somebody you're going to play in your lineup to whereas you're playing Freeman and Coleman right now.
Yes.
I think if one of those guys gets hurt, maybe you own Ito Smith or maybe you go out to the waiver wire and grab him, but he's not somebody you're going to feel comfortable playing.
Ever.
Whether you feel comfortable or not, there's no realm of possibility where he turns into a Chris Thompson-ish guy that, yeah, you're playing in there because he's breaking out big plays or doing whatever in an offense like Atlanta's.
Atlanta's not the same offense as it was when Shanahan was there. It's Steve Sarkisian now. It's a completely different offense. And you saw how they struggled last year. So it's not the same offense as it was 2 years ago.
Didn't you say that's because it was the first year? They struggled
Yeah.
the first year with Shanahan as well, so this second year should be better.
But those two guys aren't the same guy.
We're not trying to make them the same guy.
Okay?
The point is Atlanta has more of a high-powered offense than a lot of other teams in the league, regardless of whether that has changed offensive coordinators. Yes? No.
I guess the proof is in the pudding.
Okay, all right then.
The one guy I do want to talk about in Atlanta receiving core is Austin Hooper. I think that you touched on it like a couple weeks ago. He's in his third year, and he's supposedly on this high-powered offense, but a new offensive coordinator, like you guys just mentioned, came in last season. So he's basically had 2 different offensive coordinators in 2 different seasons. This will be his second year in this offense with this, kind of scheme. If Freeman and Coleman and everyone's healthy, Julio's healthy as well, Sanu, now you bring in Ridley. Now you basically have Austin Hooper is like 23 years old, I think, and I think that he's going to get a lot of open looks and a lot of targets that people really aren't. People already wrote him off as to be like this bust or to be this like irrelevant guy. He's still in a high-powered offense,
He's in his
and he's
third
like
year.
the 4th or 5th option on the team that Matt Ryan usually doesn't throw to his tight ends that much, but I think that Julio's going to get a lot of the coverage, Ridley's going to get a lot of targets, and Hooper's going to get a lot of targets. I like both these guys this year, Ridley and Hooper, because I think that they're going to be getting the 3rd, 4th corners and the linebackers and whatever else, and he could be a red zone target guy. Sanu's huge. Julio Jones is huge. You have Calvin Ridley's a little guy across the middle, and you have Hooper. And I think Hooper's going to be the guy who's going to benefit a lot of touchdowns this season in the red zone. So for where you can get him, basically on the waiver wire at this point, I think that Hooper is definitely a guy I want to watch late in the 15th, 16th round, or if I can get him off the waiver wire.
I agree with that. He's only coming into his 3rd year, so that's kind of when tight ends seem to peak.
I agree.
Is it?
Yes.
When's the last time a tight end's been relevant on Atlanta?
It's about to be right now.
Tony Gonzalez.
Yeah,
For 8
me,
years.
For me, that's why I like Cooper, like some of the potential. I just don't see it coming to fruition myself.
Okay. Any other wide receivers you guys want to touch on for Atlanta?
I mean, not really. Julio Jones didn't play in this game, so you had a lot of other guys just kind of filling the spots. Ridley had a decent game. He's obviously somebody that's owned in every dynasty league out there. Redraft-wise, you looking at Ridley as the 3rd receiver? I mean, is he someone that gets drafted in every redraft? Because I don't really think...
I would look at him in a keeper league of like a late round flyer, 15th, 16th round, 14th round, somewhere in there, just throw him on there. And if he does, maybe they move on from Sanu or maybe something happens injury-wise, Ridley has a chance and he actually looks good and he's starting to get a lot of targets, then you keep him and it costs you an 8th round or a 10th round, something like that maybe. But yeah, no, not just a regular redraft, no.
He's gonna get drafted though.
Yeah, I'm sure.
For sure he's gonna get drafted. Rookie wide receivers. I mean, I like the idea of the keeper. Maybe get him late and see what happens. No, I like that.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Let's move on to Giants 30, Detroit Lions 17. Quarterback-wise, maybe Davis Webb is probably leading the train for the number 2 spot.
Yeah.
Lauletta was getting a lot of hype before he got drafted out of Richmond. And Davis Webb so far has looked better, but he's also been in the league 1 year longer. Eli Manning's on the verge of retirement in the next year or two, so maybe something to look at in dynasty leagues.
Can we try to go on position by position for both teams?
Sure.
See how that flows?
Yeah. What about Detroit passing wise? You talk about anybody besides the obvious?
No.
I don't think so. I mean, nice stat line for Reddick, but yeah,
But
it's,
other than
it's
that,
Stafford.
Yeah, 100%. Rushing wise, New York Giants. Anyone interested in Gallman beating out Jonathan Stewart? Because I think that Gallman to me is the guy.
He does look a lot better than Stewart. I'll give you that.
I think Stewart's best days are behind him. I think that he's not going to be much. I think they would try to use a committee if Saquon went down for any extended period of time. But I think that Gallman looked okay last year. Like, he didn't look great, but he looked okay last year. I think he'll be okay as a backup this year.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Detroit's running game?
Detroit's running game, Blunt, I mean, I'm kind of worried about Blunt, to be honest with you. Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't look very good. He just looks very slow. And I'm not saying he was quick in the years before. It just doesn't look, I don't know. He doesn't look that good to me.
Well, if he doesn't work out for us the way we want him to work out for us on the short lineage and the short yardage and the goal line, I should say, is we're right back to having 3 average-sized running backs, again, like we've had for the last 25 years. So it's back to Kerryon and Abdullah and Theo Riddick and the same 2 guys we've had forever, and Kerryon Johnson was like 4 pounds bigger than them. So I assume that Blunt needs, if he's looking this bad, then that's great for Kerryon Johnson owners because he's obviously going to accumulate more touches. He might not get that many touchdowns this season, but the yardage should be there. He should be able to catch some balls as well. So I think that it's great I'm cheesing on Kerryon Johnson. I took him in 1 league because I couldn't resist it. I took him in the 7th overall, I think. I'm cheesing on him now. I've seen what he do in the preseason, and even though his numbers aren't ridiculous, I've seen him make a lot of good football moves and break a lot of tackles. And I think that if you get him in the open field, he can be very dangerous. And I think that LeGarrette Blount looking slow actually helps Kerryon Johnson. Blunt doesn't need to be fast to lower his head and go to the goal line. So that to me means less touches, more touchdowns for Blunt.
I'm kind of cheesing on Kerryon Johnson, too. I know you probably are, too, right, Travis?
Oh yeah,
Cheesing on Kerryon.
I love Kerryon Johnson from the jump.
It makes me like him better, though, seeing how much Blunt is just looking very average.
Yeah, I wasn't too scared of the Blunt narrative of him coming in and being he's on the downside of his career for sure. Kerryon, I don't think is anywhere near the same as the other 2 guys there. I think he plays bigger.
Stature-wise,
yeah, maybe when you line him up numbers-wise, but I think his game and his style, he's able to play that kind of style that you want or you expected from Blunt, and he can do multiple things as well. So I think Kerryon's a huge addition for you guys.
Thank you.
Not really a whole lot to talk about on the receiving wise for New York Giants. Obviously, Odell Beckham's still not playing, so nothing really.
Dude, a whole lot of guys got targets in this game.
Yeah, it's almost like they're just trying a whole bunch of people out. Like, there's guys I ain't even heard of on this list. They probably won't even be on
At a table?
a practice squad.
At a table?
But they probably want to bring in as many people as they can because last year they were down to like their 6th and 7th receivers.
Al Bundy's son.
So they want to make sure.
His brother.
Yeah, they want to make sure they have plenty of guys on standby.
Yeah.
What about
the one guy outside of Sterling Shepard, Odell Beckham? If it's between me for the 3rd receiver there, it's Latimer and it's Roger Lewis. Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
Okay. So which one of those 2, if any, are you trying to carry on your dynasty team, Latimer or Lewis?
I'll own Latimer, but I wouldn't own Roger Lewis.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe Latimer.
Just because of the history of this receiving core, of the injuries and the whatever else, and Odell Beckham kind of missing games here and there, and whoever else, Sterling Shepard, I wouldn't actually be against taking a chance on the 3rd receiver here because you're 1 injury away, and if they do run 3 receiver sets, the guy could be getting some targets. I'm just not sure which one I want to put my chips in there.
Well, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I think in this offense, like even if one of those guys goes down, I think it just filters more for Barkley, more for maybe Ingram, more for like that guy that steps in. I don't know if he
like it did
gets
last year.
enough.
That's
yeah.
why Ingram kind of stepped in and had to be like the number 1 guy.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of guys. Yeah,
That's true.
Detroit receiving, not a whole lot to talk about. They have their main 3 guys, and there's not a whole lot behind them. Like, there's no one I'm looking at in dynasty wise. Is there anybody you guys are checking out?
not really.
Not
no.
that I want to say on air.
Just kidding.
Should we move on to the next game?
Yeah. My man.
Buffalo Bills 19,
man.
Browns 17 in a battle of Josh Allen versus Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. Didn't disappoint.
This is the game that McCarron got hurt, and they originally said that he broke his collarbone, and they got a second opinion that said it wasn't broken.
Hairline fracture, I thought.
Did they say it was a hairline fracture?
Oh, on the second opinion, I'm not
The
sure.
second opinion.
How
yeah.
do you get an opinion and it's not right?
They
Like,
said
you
the
just look
first
at it.
opinion was inconclusive, is why.
Huh.
I think it's broken.
That's weird. I know. He's like, well, how's it feel? Does it feel broke? He's like, yeah, it's broken, then,
They said it was
man.
inconclusive.
Shit sounds broke to me.
Either way, it looks like they're trying to push Josh Allen to be the starting quarterback in week 1.
Yeah.
He's already going to start the dress rehearsal, which is week 3, so that's something to definitely look at.
I tried to go out and get him, but no one would sell him.
He hasn't looked terrible. I mean, to be honest with you, like he looks erratic at times, but
To
for the most
me,
part,
he's the only quarterback there that can make these average, below average receivers like semi-relevant in fantasy. He can get the ball to the outside. He can throw on the run, which he's going to have to do a lot. He can even throw across his body across the other side of the field. Yes, he's not the most accurate quarterback, but either is Nathan Peterman. Dude came in for a half and threw 5 interceptions, so pick your poison. I mean, to me, I'd rather give Josh Allen a chance to throw him out there than Nathan Peterman again. Like, let's be honest.
I think I like the intangibles of Allen, but I think he's going to make 2 to 3 bad plays for every great play he makes. I think it's going to be such a learning curve for this kid because his accuracy, he's always been inaccurate. So,
But that's going to be the whole team, I think. You know? Like, it's going to be a lot of mistakes for
it's
this
every
team.
team mistakes. Okay,
Yeah.
for sure. But and he got Corey Coleman, who
Exactly.
unless something changes with Corey Coleman, that guy
Mistake
just
City.
seems like his heart's not in it. It was just weird.
I mean, what a great trade for them, though. Honestly, if he
Oh.
does
Yeah,
anything at all, they gave up a next year 7th round pick. Like, if he does anything, if he gets 25 catches, it was a win for them.
25 catches and 3 touchdowns, and they got to win
Essentially,
that.
they're basically saying like, we're gonna drop him. Will you give us something? And they're like, yeah, we'll give you next year's 7th. They're like, oh shit, absolutely, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Deal.
What about Cleveland's passing game?
Cleveland, like
I love Mayfield and Taylor actually.
how long until the Cleveland fans are asking for
I don't
Mayfield?
think so. I think Taylor is. I don't know. I'm starting to like more and more. It has nothing to do with Hard Knocks. It's actually his actual play. I don't know. I think Taylor is a viable quarterback. He's above average. I think at this point, he's not a guy that's like, all right, we'll throw in Taylor until Mayfield's ready. It's like I honestly think that Taylor is more talented than Mayfield as of right now. I think that he's got the experience. As long as he gels with the guys that he has, I think that he can have a decent year and keep his job for the entire season.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think he was an above-average quarterback on a below-average team
Yes.
in Buffalo.
And he did great with what he had.
Well, a team that ran the ball more than they did anything. So,
Right.
yeah, you always heard that faction that was like, Tyrod Taylor's better than the consensus. And I think that's true. He's very
But he's kind of in the same situation now in Cleveland because he's got 3 really viable options at running back with Chubb and Hyde and Duke Johnson. So he's got 3 guys there at running. So they could still be a run first team. Then they decide to pass. You have Josh Gordon, who's back now, and the rest of the guys that are there, and Njoku and so on. So he's got weapons around him. I think he's going to have a decent season,
Yeah,
whoever the quarterback is
I
there.
think the receiving core is more talented than the
Running game?
the rushing core, yeah.
They have all the pieces there. Like, there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to improve on their 0-win season last year and not put up at least 5 or 6 wins. Like, they have all the tools there on the offensive side.
I agree. Right. Receiving core? For
Rushing,
Buffalo? Oh, okay, go ahead.
rushing for Buffalo. Any noise with this Marcus Murphy guy? Like, I mean, is he
got
kind of
picked up
threat
in-
to Ivory? He
Yeah.
got picked up in a couple of our dynasty leagues.
I don't think he's any threat now.
You think Ivory's?
I think it's Ivory and if McCoy gets hurt, it's Ivory and Cadet. Cadet, we get all the. I don't know. I think both of them split 50-50. But Cadet's definitely going to make the team.
Yeah, I think it's a mess. If McCoy goes
Yeah.
down, it's a mess.
I think it's a mess too. And McCoy did just get a little bit banged up. He hurt his groin.
Has
So-
anyone heard anything about his situation?
My finger.
right.
Oh, wait,
Has
that's
anyone
the wrong
heard anything
show.
about that?
No, nothing.
Nothing at all, right?
Which
So-
is weird.
Is he clear?
Yeah,
They're
I heard
still
about
in-
the guy's groin, and
They're
that's
still
weird.
investigating.
No, the investigation about his girlfriend or
Oh,
whatever.
oh.
I haven't heard a single peep since like that week that it came out, which was
Didn't,
now 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Didn't they just do a settlement? I thought I saw something where
He had to pay her.
there was like some kind
Jesus.
of don't quote me on that.
I
but
won't.
I might quote
what
you.
was we'll look it up after. But I think there was some, I don't know if it was civil or whatever. But I think there was some kind of
Settlement.
agreement.
Wow. Well, okay. So I mean, I'm back to believing in LaShawn McCoy again.
Well,
Reconciliation.
So far,
Doesn't mean that the NFL's not going to suspend him.
exactly.
let's hope.
And that you don't have to be convicted of anything for the NFL to swoop down and give you a 6-game suspension.
Let's keep it off Dallas. Talk about Cleveland's running
Cleveland
backs.
rushing. I thought all 3 of the guys look pretty good. I thought like Hyde looks good both games.
Hyde looks real good. I think.
Yeah, both games.
But he's always had the talent, though. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he's always underrated, kind of to me, and he always got banged up, so he got that kind of label. But yeah, I think that running attack could be nasty.
And all three guys can catch, even though they use Duke Johnson. Even though they use Duke Johnson as the receiving back, like all three guys can catch, and all three guys can run. Like they're giving Duke Johnson carries too. So it's a three-headed monster there, and I want to see how it shakes out. I'm interested to see.
They've lined up old DJ J out there in the receiver territory too. A little bit.
Right.
Jarvis Landry. Damn, I couldn't think of the other guy's name. I'm like Josh Gordon, and I couldn't think of. Just now came to me.
And then Josh Gordon's back, but he isn't playing yet. So there's not a whole hell of a lot to talk about the receiving core either. I think that Callaway's a little bit banged up with a minor injury, but he's
got talent oozing out of his.
Oh, he does. Dude. If he can stay clean, he's going to be very relevant.
I did want to touch on if you did watch Hard Knocks. Scroll down. What was the guy's name? D.
Cajuste?
Yeah.
No, it's
Kajus. If he didn't fire you up watching that and see what these guys go through when he got hit, and I'm pretty sure either separated his shoulder or maybe dislocated his something happened there where he got hit and he was screaming on the field in pain, and then he had to stay in because essentially right now he's fighting for a roster spot. If not a roster spot, then he's trying to get signed somewhere, and he was out there literally screaming in agony trying to make blocks. He made like 3 catches after he got hurt. He made 2 really good blocks after he got hurt, and he was literally going back to the huddle screaming bloody murder because his arm didn't look like it was like dislocated, and he was out there still making blocks. He's like, well, this is it. Like this is my life. I got to do whatever I got to do. And his dad's watching from the stands. His dad's cheering him on. Like if that didn't hype you up.
How about when they were having their conversation and his dad had some
heart attack
or whatever it was?
Heart attack.
And his dad's like, oh yeah, I had my 5th one, and Kajus didn't know about it, and he got teared up. I was like, I'm gonna start crying.
Yeah, it was a good father-son moment, but that's why Hard Knocks is awesome. So. But yeah, that's one guy that now I'll keep an eye on because I've never heard of him before, but now I just want to see, is he going to make an NFL roster somewhere? Is he going to be signed on the practice squad? Oh, I'm not going to own him, but I just want to see what he does.
He's like, I'm not going to buy into the guy that they try to make happen.
Still treason for me.
This is the guy they're going to try to make happen.
You can't pull at my heartstrings with that treason BS.
Let's move on to the next game here. Carolina 27, Miami 20. I wish just Brock Osweiler would just kind of go away. Like I feel like they keep kind of rolling him out there like as a possible backup, and I just don't see it happening.
Let's stop talking about him.
Right. Yeah. Let's just move on.
They all did pretty well though. 14 for 17. Like they all were pretty damn accurate.
I mean, he had 10 completions for 68 yards.
Yeah.
Whatever. Carolina, Tannehill actually looked pretty good. Like it looks like he's feeling confident coming back from that ACL injury.
He could be a very, very, very late just sleeper waiver wire pickup and actually produce. He's got a completely different receiving core now. He actually has a relevant tight end that could be good. They straightened out the running game by adding Frank Gore and adding Balaj and Drake, and I like the offense. If you look at the Dolphins, they're getting no respect whatsoever. Tannehill could have a decent season.
Treason.
You don't believe in Tannehill?
I don't believe in the Dolphins.
I think he could finish as a top 12 guy.
I don't believe in those mammals.
I don't know if I believe that.
They're going to be down a lot of games. They're going to be throwing a lot.
I thought I was cheesing a little bit on Tannehill as like a waiver wire pickup.
Yeah.
Or like a.
That's what I'm saying.
But not top 12.
I'm saying with the offense they have and the defense being so crappy that they could have a chance to throw a lot. So I think Amendola and Kenny Stills and Devontae Parker, this is going to be year they actually have a chance to be relevant.
Anything you want to touch on the Carolina side for passing?
No.
Not a whole lot there. It doesn't really matter who the backup is there. For years it was what's his face and
what's his face is out of the picture.
Yeah, he's out of the picture now. That guy. What the hell was his name? I can picture his face and I can't picture.
Is that the one that he actually started for a while because somebody got hurt?
Derek Anderson.
Yes. Yeah.
There you go. He's out of the. He's
he
out
had
of the
that
picture.
one good little stretch.
Yes.
All of a sudden.
Miami rushing. It's Kenyon Drake's party, and it looks like.
Is it?
Why was Balaj?
Might be a party crasher there.
I didn't watch his game at all. Does anyone know, was Balaj hurt for this game? Or was he benched because he didn't get any rushing or receiving?
I don't know. Can we talk about Christian McCaffrey though? Like now he's actually getting carries in the middle of the tackles as well. I don't know if that's just because it's preseason.
Cheezin on that?
But I'm for sure cheesing on it. if he gets anywhere near the same bulk of the what do you call it, receptions or targets I should say, and they're also gonna sprinkle him in to run in between the tackles and get some legit carries like he didn't get last year. Now they go from Jonathan Stewart to C.J. Anderson. C.J. Anderson hasn't really impressed me that much, and they haven't really been playing him that much with the ones anyway. Now all of a sudden Christian McCaffrey comes out there in the first quarter and breaks another one for 71 yards and a touchdown. The kid looks good, and he can do everything. And I know he's a little undersized, but he's that guy that if they use him the right way, could be right back where he was last season as a top 10 guy.
It's very possible. I'm trying to temper expectations. I like McCaffrey.
Jeez.
I think with some of the added weapons they have there, with some guys coming back from injury, I think just by default, his targets and stuff would kind of take a little bit of a regression. C.J. Anderson is going to get some work. I think they want to use McCaffrey inside, and I think that might be a product of wanting him to be on the field more. Like, if it's a clear kind of run, they want to be able to bring him in as well. I could definitely see him thriving, but I'm scared if he gets too many of those inside runs, if they use him too much, it's a little scary for me. But he's a great talent.
I just want to see him, if I own him, to get at least 8 to 10 rushes a game. However, that's inside, outside, whatever, that's plenty. I don't want to see him get 20 to 22 carries and the 10 receptions. That to me is potential for him to get hurt.
Although, like, I keep having to remind myself, with the rule change this year, he might be able to thrive doing that because the way
people are scared to hit now.
Yeah, he might thrive in that.
I love Christian McCaffrey in all formats.
The thing that worries me a little bit, though, I'm more not Cheezin on McCaffrey, but I'm more Treason on C.J. Anderson.
Me too.
I thought he was actually going to have like a pretty decent role, but now that more I watch him in preseason, I just don't know how much of a role he's going to have. I don't know where.
But he ran for 1,000 yards last season with Denver's
That's
offense.
why I thought he was going to come in and have like a carved out role, but he really doesn't. The thing that worries me about Carolina, though, is their offensive line. They just had Matt Khalil go down. He's considered week to week, but he hasn't been playing well. It's like he's been playing injured. And it also said they lost Andrew Norwell in free agency, so it says Carolina's offense, it looks like it's in shambles. That kind of worries me a little bit.
Which makes me be down on C.J. Anderson more and up on McCaffrey more because the dump-off passes. If he's going to be on his back foot the entire time and Cam Newton's going to be getting pressure because the offensive line's not that great, that means even more dump-offs to Greg Olsen and McCaffrey, and even Ian Thomas looked phenomenal in this game.
Or it means you need to have somebody back there blocking as well. So, yeah.
True.
It's only been 2 weeks of preseason, so I'm still open-minded about C.J. Anderson. I don't think you bring him in to just get relegated to no involvement that matters. So I want to see that definitely the third game when they actually maybe try to put something legit together, like you might see in the regular season. But yeah, I mean, I hear the concerns for sure.
Receiving wise, Devontae Parker didn't play in this game, and neither did Kenny Stills, so it let some of the other guys kind of show up a little bit. Obviously, Amendola is going to be what I believe the slot guy, and Albert Wilson's going to be the guy that can kind of move around everywhere. So both guys are definitely worth a look in Dynasty. Redraft, probably only Amendola. I don't think I'd go as far as to say Albert Wilson's worth owning in a redraft or worth drafting. Maybe a spot starter if someone gets hurt.
Right.
But other than that, I'm not on anybody. Like, I know they try to make Leonte Carew happen and also Grant.
That ship has sailed.
Yeah, I believe the same thing. Like, I'm not really super impressed. Like I said before, Balaj didn't show up in this game at all, so I don't know if it's because of injury. I didn't watch this game at all. But receiving wise on Carolina, it looks like Curtis Samuel is trying his best to try to win that number 3 spot behind Funchess and DJ Moore.
I like Ian Thomas. I thought he looked great on the 2 routes that he did run, and he got targets on. Came across the middle and looked fast. Like he outran a DB and a safety for a touchdown. He's bigger guy, but he looked very agile, and I was kind of impressed because Greg Olsen's not doing that anymore. You know what I mean? He's not outrunning anybody. He's not running people over. And so for Ian Thomas, the future looks good for them at tight end. If something does happen to Olsen again with his feet or his ankles, then Ian Thomas could be very relevant. As of right now, he's obviously stuck behind Olsen and probably not much relevance at this point. But for sure, somebody to keep on your taxi squad and wait for me.
He's. I wanted to get a piece of him in drafts. He's a good metric prospect. He was very productive in college, so yeah, I think he's got a good future ahead of him.
Do you guys want to, before we go to the next game, since we still have 8 left and we're at 52 minutes, do we want to cut it and do 2 episodes of this?
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Hang on.
That's correct.
That's correct.
Let's go crack it.